All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Prerna, and on behalf of the BBB of mainland BC, we welcome you. From coast to coast to coast, we appreciate you all being here with us this morning as we officially unveil the BBB National Risk Report and the top 10 scams of 2021. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that our BBB office in mainland British Columbia is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations. We appreciate and honor our ability to gather on these lands. During today's launch, you will be hearing from Simone Liss, President and CEO of BBB serving mainland BC and the Yukon Territory, representing 9 BBBs across Canada. Nicola Pfeiffer, Senior Competition Law Officer at Cartels and Deceptive Marketing Practices Branch, and from a Canadian consumer who will be sharing their experience with one of 2021's top 3 scams. Before I hand it over to Simone, I would like to just address a few housekeeping matters. At the end of the presentation, we will be opening the floor to the media for a Q&A session. However, as your questions come to mind, please send a direct message in the chat to the BBB mainland BC user, including your name and media outlet. During the Q&A, we will be responding to questions in order they were received. If you would like to arrange an interview with any of our speakers after today's event, or to arrange consumer interviews, please reach out to Chloe Shi at chloe@mbc.bbb.org. That's chloe@mbc.bbb.org. Chloe can also support in connecting you with the appropriate media representatives for BBBs across Canada, should you be looking for localized data and interviews and other things. I will now be handing it over to Simone Liss. Simone, you're on mute.
I love a little bit of technology humor first thing in the morning. Thank you and good morning to everyone watching across Canada. I am so very excited to once again be unveiling the BBB's annual National Risk Report and Top 10 Riskiest Scams. For over 100 years, BBBs across North America have been here to build a marketplace of trust. In 2021 alone, people turned to the Better Business Bureau more than 200 million times to find business profiles on 6.3 million businesses and charity reports on 25,000 charities, all for free at bbb.org. Now I'd like to pass it over to Nicola from the Competition Bureau to share a bit about their organization and Fraud Prevention Month.
Thanks, Simone. Hi, everyone. Just a few words about the Competition Bureau before I introduce myself. So we are an independent law enforcement agency that ensures Canadian businesses and consumers prosper in a competitive and innovative marketplace. We investigate false or misleading representations and deceptive marketing practices under the Competition Act. Fraud Prevention Month is an important time of year where we raise awareness of various types of fraud and provide tips to the public so everyone can protect themselves. So my name is Nicola Pfeiffer. I'm a senior competition law officer in the Competition Bureau's Vancouver Regional Office. Really happy to be here again for another launch of Fraud Prevention Month. Next slide, please. So 2021 marks the 18th year of Fraud Prevention Month. Again this year, the Competition Bureau is working with its partners, the RCMP, and the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, co-chairs of the campaign. Last year was a historic year for financial losses reported to the CAFC. 379 million was lost to scams and fraud in 2021. This is a 130% increase over 2020. The actual impact of fraud is likely much higher. The CAFC estimates that Canadians report only 5% of actual fraud cases. Next slide, please. The theme of this year's Fraud Prevention Month campaign at the Competition Bureau is impersonation fraud. Fraudsters are increasingly using advanced methods, particularly online, to impersonate a consumer, a business, or an institution. The Competition Bureau is focusing on 3 examples of impersonation fraud in the digital economy. First, fake online reviews. Second, fake emails and fake or cloned websites. And third, various types of business fraud. Everyone is a potential target, consumers of all ages and businesses of all sizes and descriptions. We want to help Canadians recognize, reject, and report fraud. Thanks. Over to you, Simone.
Thanks, Nicola. BBB is definitely a champion of Fraud Prevention Month. We use this month annually to share our risk report and top riskiest scams. Throughout the month, we focus on educating the public around a variety of popular scams and how to protect yourself through digital campaigns, webinars, and events. One important tool that we use to assess what scams are affecting consumers is our BBB Scam Tracker. Launched in 2015, this online platform allows consumers and businesses across North America to report attempted or successful acts of fraud they've experienced. These instances of fraud are reviewed and posted for the public, empowering others to identify scams and avoid losing money. BBB Scam Tracker's impact goes far beyond the tool itself. By monitoring real-time reports and overall trends, this data can then be shared with law enforcement to combat scams and with media partners to warn the public. Last year, more than 1.6 million people visited the platform, reporting more than 46,000 scams across North America. When surveyed, 49% of users of Scam Tracker reported that they were trying to determine if they were experiencing a scam, and 23% of those visitors reported that our Scam Tracker helped them avoid losing money to a scammer. Our survey research also found that 98% of visitors to BBB Scam Tracker sought to warn others about a scam, and 91% hope to bring justice. We estimate that BBB Scam Tracker helped people save $31.4 million US in 2021. BBB uses a 3-dimensional approach to gauge the impact of scams and determine real risk. Our BBB risk index formula is exposure, which is basically the volume of reports, by susceptibility, which is the likelihood of a loss, by monetary loss, which is the median amount of the loss. If we simply looked at what scam types are most common, we'd be missing the bigger picture of which scams have the biggest impact on marketplace trust and on consumers' wallets. And now, what you've been waiting for, highlights from the BBB risk report, starting with, in number 10, I'm going to go in descending order because that's kind of fun, even though it's here. But number 10, sweepstakes and lotteries. Number 9, credit cards. Number 8, fake invoices and supplier bills. Number 7, employment. Number 6, counterfeit products. Number 5, phishing. Number 4, home improvement scams. Number 3, online purchase scams. Number 2, advanced fee loans. And in number 1 position this year, cryptocurrency. When looking at this list, we believe that the increase of counterfeit product scams going from number 10 in 2020 to number 6 this year, phishing scams going from number 8 to number 5, and the continued volume of online scams are intuitively related to changes in consumer behavior resulting from the ongoing COVID pandemic. Our research shows that 53% of Canadians are shopping online more, and 56% are spending more time browsing online or on social media. These increases are likely contributing factors to the increase in online related scams. And our research also showed that Canadians who reported being unable to keep up with their bills were more likely to report losing money when targeted by a scam. Now I'll share a bit more about our top 3 riskiest scams. Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has been holding a place on our list across North America for the past 3 years. In 2020, it ranked number 4 on our list. However, it leapt to the number 1 riskiest scam in 2021 with a high susceptibility of 69.6% and the median dollar loss of $1,500 Canadian, the highest average loss among the top 10 scams. In speaking with victims, they shared that they fell for these scams because they seemed like an easy way to invest, promised extremely attractive returns, and because the financial strain caused by the pandemic made them want to find other ways to make money. In most of the scam tracker reports we received, cryptocurrency was purchased from, traded by, or stored with a person or exchange site that turned out to be fraudulent. All of these reasons have helped push cryptocurrency into the number 1 riskiest scam affecting Canadians. Cryptocurrencies are not controlled by any central authority, and digital assets such as cryptocurrency cannot be retrieved, and transactions cannot be reversed or stopped in instances of theft through cyber hacking. If you're contemplating an investment, here are some tips to help you stay steer of scams. Be suspicious of anyone promising quick cash with little risk or making pushy sales pitches that encourage you to act now. Their claims may even sound great or plausible, but you must stay alert. Scammers can pretend to be your friend on social media. They can hack into your friends' accounts and then pitch offers. So always check directly with your friend and do your own research before clicking or on a link or investing in any sort of offering. Never use an online payment system to pay somebody you don't know, and make sure you're checking to see if a broker is properly registered. Check with the Canadian Securities Administrators. Be wary of stocks with huge spikes in price. This could signal a problem, some manipulation going on. And make sure you search BBB Scam Tracker to see if another person has reported the person or business as a scammer. Advance fee loans continue to hold a top 3 position this year. In 2021, Canadians lost an average of about $1,000, which was the second highest median dollar loss for scams in the year. Advance fee fraudsters typically prey on people that are in a financial bind, especially if they don't qualify for loans through traditional lenders. The common ruse in this scam is that a loan is guaranteed, but comes with some sort of upfront charge. It could be disguised as a tax or a processing fee, but when the charges are paid, the loan never comes and the applicant is left with a larger debt. Based on BBB research, 21.1% of consumers have had an employment status change or lost their job due to COVID-19. 14.1% were unable to keep up with bills. It is possible that due to these circumstances, we have seen the impact in falling prey to both advance fee loans when quick cash is needed and cryptocurrency scams where there is a promise of quick wealth. Please know that if anyone asks you to pay a fee in advance of getting a loan, walk away. It's illegal in Canada, even if that fee is disguised. As in the previous 2 years, online purchase scams are still the most common scams with the largest level of exposure. Nearly 1/3 of the scam reports received by Canadian BBBs were about online purchase scams. Almost 3 out of every 4, or 73%, of those targeted by online purchase scams reported losing money. Now, reiterating that Canadians are browsing and shopping online more, there is a greater possibility of exposure to an online purchase scam. Online scams are vast and varied, and they encompass issues such as paying for items that never arrive or are of low quality or not as promised, getting a bill for unexpected taxes or other last-minute charges, a fake website, purchasing or receiving counterfeit goods, or subscription and free trial traps. We reached out to one consumer who shared a report with us on Scam Tracker, and we asked her to join us and share her story. Today, you'll be hearing from Jaylene. She's joining us from Ontario, and she's going to share her experience with an online scam. Please welcome Jaylene.
Jane, you're on mute. If you can unmute yourself. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. This happened to me over a year ago, so the details are a bit fuzzy, but I'm going to mostly go by the letter that I sent into the Better Business Bureau. I think it was the Scam Tracker information. It was one of those free trial offers. If I'm not mistaken, I think they used the Costco logo to gain trust. I doubt Costco knew it, but my initial order for this free trial, oh, well, in the letter it says 4 months ago, but geez, I was writing this in February. So, so I trusted the Costco name, so I went ahead and filled in my credit card information for the postage. I was supposed to get 2 bottles of creams, fancy face cream. And I got the free bottles. By the time I got them, I didn't remember whether, even how I got them. I just remembered it was supposed to be a free offer. But then I found on my credit card a charge for $300 for those. And then I called the company and they said not only had they charged me the $300 because I was supposed to have apparently returned the bottles within 10 days if I wasn't going on with a subscription that I didn't know I was signing up for. So they actually sent a second pair of bottles and charged another $300 before I was able to figure it out and get my credit card stopped. But I didn't know there was a subscription you had to, that you were actually signing up for, that they would continue sending it to you. So I'm on disability. I live on under $15,000 a year. So this $600 was quite huge for me. With the first online rep that I spoke to, I begged, I pleaded, I explained my financial situation. I did all of this, and he offered me $40 off of the $300 price, which I let him know was not acceptable. And could I speak to his superior? He went on and on. He finally went up to $70 and kept trying to give me a tracking number of some sort for the fact they were returning to me the $70. But I kept asking over and over for a superior till I finally I was put on hold several times, but I finally got a new person to talk to. And again, it was the same story. They couldn't do anything but this $70. And but the kicker was that if I continued the subscription, they would sell the cream to me for $20 a bottle from there on out, which leaves you wondering why it was $300 to start with. So I went on and on with this person, asking for the superior, and they just wouldn't even acknowledge I was asking. They kept arguing with me until I was finally put on with someone eventually who was supposed to be the manager whatever. And instead of being in any way, remorseful about it on my behalf or anything, apologetic, anything, she started telling me that I was a scammer, taking on free trials that I didn't plan to pay for, which doesn't make sense, and then trying to get out of them, something to that effect. Let me see. At the end of our conversation, while I'm still asking for a superior above her or an email address to write to the company itself, she told me that I could write to care@suckmy fill in the blank. And then she put me on hold and never came back. I eventually hung up. So I figure it wasn't just a scam, but I mean, like, I doubt even if I had agreed, I'd be even getting creams from then on, let alone for $20. I guess that's it. That's my story. So I was taken for $600.
Thank you, Jaylene, for sharing your story with us. It's really appreciated.
You're welcome.
Yeah, now I'm going to pass it on to Nicola, and she's got some great tips for us from the Competition Bureau.
Okay.
Thanks, Simone. And I'm also.
Nicola, you're on mute there.
I'm so sorry. My turn. I just wanted to also thank Jaylene for telling her story. It's so important that people talk about these frauds. That's the best way for the message to get out. So as you can see, fraud comes in all forms, from frauds that entice 1,000 people to send $30 to a fraud that lures one person into into giving up hundreds of dollars. Let's talk about fake reviews and how they erode trust in the marketplace, keeping in mind that number 3 on the BBB's riskiest scams is online purchases. So fake reviews can be written by regular customers who are paid by the business itself or compensated somehow, by employees of the business, or by reputation management companies. And who is a target? Everyone online. So some tips to protect yourself. Sudden spikes or dips in reviews. Pay attention to those. Beware of comments and reviews that say it's the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. Beware of companies that have all 5-star reviews. Everyone gets a bad review now and then. Now, keep in mind when you bear in mind that you don't want one company to have all 5-star reviews, that it's a matter of numbers. So if they have a few and they just got started, not necessarily a red flag, but again, look at the patterns. Read the 2, 3, and 4-star reviews. The meat is in the middle. That's where you're likely to find a balanced critique at the end of the day. Consult several review sources. Don't rely solely on reviews or star ratings, in particular on a seller's website. And make reviews one of many sources that you consult when making your purchasing decisions. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to people you trust. Look at reviews over a long period of time. Again, look for patterns. Try and figure out if anything is out of place. You know, one of my favorites is a car dealership review that talked about how great the food is. It's possible that that was someone paid, someone not paying attention, but that's the sort of thing that we want to jump off the page at you. Next slide, please. So fake emails and fake or cloned websites. These are huge right now. I know I'm going to guess that everyone listening today has seen these in a text or an email at some point. So fake emails look like they're from legitimate organizations like Canada Post, courier and telecommunication companies, government entities, and well-known retailers. They appear to be authentic, often down to logos, word marks, layout, and color schemes. And we're going to see an example of that in a second. And they're sometimes linked to fake or cloned websites. Thanks. Go ahead. So let's take a look at an actual email that was sent out. Some of you may have even seen this. So what can we look for here? So first of all, I'm going to take a good look at the URL or the website address at the top. So who is it from? So it sort of looks okay. Canada Post, Post Canada in French, delivery. But then there's a strange hannah-den.com. I know sometimes websites and URLs and links may have sort of strange letters and numbers attached, but this is right in the from address. Back to the logo. So these colors, if you look up the Canada Post logo, are sort of reminiscent of what the Canada Post logo looks like, but not quite. So you can always pull up the actual logo for the company and compare it to what you're seeing in your text or email. Next, the fake tracking number that they're providing. Now, never ever click on any of the links in these websites. They could take you to malware. However, you could copy that tracking number, go on to the Canada Post tracking page and plug it in and see if there is such a package. See, and if there is, what has the journey of that package been? So that's something you can do. You can easily find using your favorite search engine, Canada Post, and tracking will get you to a Canada Post tracking page. So a few other things to look for. Watch for spelling mistakes. Sure, some people make spelling mistakes, but usually reputable companies are going to make a point of making sure that there aren't any spelling or grammar mistakes in their communications. You can hover over, you can take your cursor and hover over a hyperlink and see what it says. See if there's anything that looks suspicious to you. Can you call the company? Can you see where the company is? Can you Google, or for search engine of your choice, can you look up the name of the company and the word scam? You can go to the BBB tracker pages as well. There are various ways that you can investigate scams yourself using the BBB website. Play detective. That's what we want you to do. Be discriminating. Don't be in a hurry. It can be enticing when you receive messages like this because we get excited. We think we're getting some sort of a package. Maybe it's a present. Slow down a little bit. Chances are that it's a fake. So have a good look. Over to you, Simone.
I was going to say, thank you, Nicola. Playing detective, I think, is a really good tip, right? Building on what you're saying. We also looked at the riskiest and most prevalent scams reported by businesses in 2021. And across North America, as you can see here, it was the fake invoice supplier bill scams. Scammers approach employees of the business to pay for products the business didn't order. Fake invoice bills are submitted for products such as office supplies, website or domain hosting services, directory listings, and more. Businesses should always inspect invoices and verify information of possible vendors before sending any payment of any kind. As shown on the slide, the next two riskiest scams reported by businesses were bank and credit card company imposter scams and worthless problem-solving scams, respectively. And the most highly reported business scams, which is highest volume potential exposure, were a similar listing, including fake invoice supplier bills, government agency imposters, and bank and credit card company imposter scams, respectively. Impersonation, which is sort of what Jaylene was talking about with her, with the Costco reference, and also what Nicola was talking about with Canada Post, it's a common tactic used by fraudsters. And so by pretending to be well-known and trusted companies, government agencies, organizations, even the Better Business Bureau, scammers are trying to manipulate their targets. One interesting fact for you, in 2021, Amazon became the most impersonated organization reported to BBB Scam Tracker. It's also notable that although businesses are less susceptible to scams than consumers, at 22% versus 43%. The median dollar loss was higher across North America at $235. Now I'll pass it to Nicola, who will share some tips on how businesses can protect themselves from fraud.
Thanks, Simone. So let's talk a little bit more about frauds that typically target businesses, big and small. So the golden rule, take 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks. Do not be in a hurry. Fraudsters contacting companies will almost always tell you what they want you to do is urgent and it can't wait. Pressure. Be aware when someone is trying to pressure you. Take a moment, stop and think before you part with your money or your personal information. This can make all the difference. Talk to a friend, put the caller on hold, find a way to contact your friend, or just hang up. It's okay to reject, refuse, or ignore a request. It doesn't make you a bad person. Only criminals will try and panic you. Some business frauds to look out for. I'm just going to say a few words about each one to just remind you of what to look for. So phishing. Do not click on links in unfamiliar texts and emails. Intellectual property renewal. Be wary of official looking invoices that look like they're from government. Tech support. Be extremely skeptical of someone who wants to access or remote into your computer for any reason. In this case, be skeptical of anyone claiming they are from tech support. Fake CEO fraud. This is also known as business email compromise. I want you to keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a CEO. So don't hear about the CEO scam and think, oh, I don't work in a company with that sort of structure, or I'm not a CEO, or I don't work for one, so therefore this doesn't apply to me. This can apply to any business structure, from a huge business to a community organization or a church. If someone senior wants you to send money somewhere, particularly if they're trying to rush you, make sure you confirm it. Find a way to confirm. Take 5, call someone, double check somehow, do some research, play detective again. Some tips for businesses. Like I said, be skeptical of urgent requests. Take 5, educate your employees. It's so important to tell others in your community, including your employees, about these frauds. Start with the people in your company. Put procedures in place so no one is puzzled at how to handle it when somebody is trying to have you make a purchase. Review all unsolicited offers very carefully. Don't open attachments or click on links from unknown senders. Ask for information. Ask where the business is. If you're on the phone, ask for consumer reviews even. Ask them to talk about their product lines. If you're on the phone and you think it might not be a legitimate offer, just hang up. Don't worry. If that offer is available, you will find it another way. Look up the company, look up the word scam, fraud, go on the BB website. And finally, passwords. Make them unique, keep them private, and change them regularly. I know that's easier said than done, but it's really important. Thanks.
Thanks, Nicola. So let's take a look at some quick highlights from the 2021 risk report. So we've heard a wealth of information about the financial impact of scams. There are other non-financial cost of scams as well. In a recent survey of those who experienced a scam, roughly 51% of respondents lost time. About 41% lost confidence or peace of mind due to the stress or emotional impact they experienced. And 27% reported sharing personally identifiable information that they then had to protect. Stories like the ones we have heard today and the range of implications from scams illustrate why it is so important to do your research first, and that both BBB.org and BBB Scam Tracker are a great resource to help businesses and consumers avoid these situations. In the slide that you see in front of you, we are looking at riskiest scams by age group, and this is across North America. For the first time since we began publishing the risk report, investment scams were the third riskiest for ages 18 to 24. Now, this could possibly be related to the rise of interest in cryptocurrency overall. Cryptocurrency, of course, being the top riskiest scam here in Canada, and second across age groups 25 to 64. And so there may be some linkage and close as a result of this close tie. Online purchase scams were the riskiest for all age groups. And again, not surprising given that all age groups are spending more time online. And then employment scams were the second riskiest for ages 18 to 24 and third riskiest for ages 25 to 44 and 55 to 64, which may have to do with many experiencing job changes or looking for work. And then in the 65 plus age group, those trying to keep up with ever advancing technology or potentially looking to enjoy their retirement, they are the most likely age group to be duped by travel, vacation, or timeshare type scams and tech support type scams. Consistent with previous years and with American consumers, more women reported scams. Across North America, more than 2/3 of reports to the BBB scam tracker in 2021 were submitted by women. Men reported both higher susceptibility at 48.5% versus women at 44.4%, and a significantly higher median dollar loss, so $369 than women, which was about $188. Here are some general tips to help you keep you safe from scams. Just as Nicola said, just don't click on links or open attachments in unsolicited emails or text messages. Don't believe anything or everything you see or read. Nicola provided a great example of a phishing email that looked like it was coming from Canada Post. Scammers are great at mimicking official seals, fonts, and other details. And just because a website or email looks official doesn't mean it is. Even caller ID can be faked. Never ever share personally identifiable information with someone who's contacted you unsolicited. Be extremely cautious with dealing with anyone you've met online, and never ever send money or use an online payment system to pay somebody you don't know or haven't met or haven't done your research with. Don't be pressured to act immediately. Take that 5. Take precautions when making online purchases. Don't shop on price alone. Scammers often find hard to find products at great prices and then advertise them at great deals. And then again, you don't get what you're looking for. So don't buy these online things without doing your research. Don't buy online unless the website is secured with the HTTPS and the unbroken lock. And avoid making quick purchases while browsing on social media. Scammers advertise great deals, but then again, don't deliver or you might get a counterfeit good. Do your research. Bottom line is, if something doesn't feel right, trust your gut. Always do your research. Always protect yourself. If you've lost money to a scam, please understand you are not alone. Greater awareness and reports will help stop these crimes. Together, we can empower all, recognize, report, and stop scams. Please report your scams to your local police, to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, and to BBB Scam Tracker. You can always view and report scams when you are not sure at bbb.org/scam tracker. And by working together, we can prevent scammers from stealing and from eroding marketplace trust. Nicola?
Thanks, Simone. So a final reminder, we know that only 5%, and that's obviously an estimate, 5% of frauds are reported. So why is it important to report? Some frauds like the CEO scam are reported even less. Reasons like embarrassment, worry for the reputation of the company. It's so important that you report. You can report to the CAFC. That is not going to make it public. By notifying authorities, you do essentially two things. You provide enforcement agencies with the information that they require to be able to look into these frauds, find out what's going on. And secondly, you allow us to put out these alerts and consumer protection agencies to put out alerts to the public to warn them about these frauds. We can't warn you if we don't know they're going on. Talk to your friends and neighbors, be aware that these scams are going out to everyone, spread the word, and help prevent others from being victimized. Thanks very much.
Before we wrap up, I also want to share that March 15th is BBB National Password Day. As Nicola mentioned earlier, changing your passwords regularly is a necessary and proactive step to keep your information safe. Make your passwords long and strong by using letters, numbers, and special characters. Please take March 15th as an opportunity to increase your cybersecurity. Change your passwords. In closing, I just want to take this as an opportunity to thank the Competition Bureau, Nicola, along with Jaylene, for taking part in this presentation today. I'd like to acknowledge my team and the BBBs across Canada, the BBB Institute of Marketplace Trust, who produced this report, and all of our accredited businesses and thousands of people who support us every year in building a marketplace of trust. For those of you who are looking for a copy of the 2021 National Risk Report, you can find it at the website address listed on the screen. And if you are looking for any other additional information, you can visit us at bbb.org. I will now hand this back to Prerna, who will begin our question and answer period. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone and Nicola and Jaylene. All right, so to our media reps, if you have a question to the panel, please feel free to unmute yourself, and if you wish to, be on video as well. So over to you. All right, while we wait for looking for questions, I'm just going to pop over to our Q&A tab and check as well. And I'd also like to know, I like to tell everyone out there that we will be sharing the press release with all the links to the risk report and, all the other highlights as well. So please keep an eye out. All right, I'm just checking our comment section here for questions as well. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for finding this this session informative and helpful. All right, so looks like we don't have any questions from consumers as well and from the media houses. So if you wish to reach us offline, you can do so as well. You have our email address. You can reach us at communications@mbc.bbb.org. That's communications@mbc.bbb.org, or our media manager, Chloe@mbc.bbb.org. That's Chloe@mbc.bbb.org. Now, before we wrap up, Simone and Nicola, is there anything you would like to share? Simone, you can go first.
Oh, I just once again, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. This is the best way that we can help stop scams, is just by paying attention to information like that. Know your general tips. And to paraphrase Nicola, I'll just take 5.
Thank you. Nicola?
Yeah, I mean, just keep your eyes open, be aware that these scams are out there. Talk to your neighbors, particularly your elderly neighbors. Try and have sort of a global view of your community and how scams are affecting them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone on the team here and everyone who attended and is watching this session as well. And special thanks to Jelaine for taking the time out to share your story. I know, it's very brave on your part. So thank you so much. All right, so I guess we've reached the end of our session. Thanks everyone for watching today, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.